All right. So we started recording. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. We have people dialing in from all over the globe, and I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Heidi Solomon, and I am the founder and CEO of Girls Who Sell. I have the unique pleasure of being your guide for this afternoon's webinar called The Confidence Factor. We are going to have a super lively and interactive discussion about some of the limiting beliefs that may be impacting our confidence. I don't know about each one of you, but I know that confidence is something that I struggle with frequently, and I don't think it, no matter your age, I think imposter syndrome and confidence is an issue that we all need to tackle. And so I am super excited to hear what both Michael and Chelsea have to say today around this very important topic. And to that end, Chelsea and Michael, welcome. I appreciate you volunteering your time to be a part of today's call.
Happy to be here, Heidi. Looking forward to today.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Heidi.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So, and I know that I'm not going to, just in the interest of time, I know as we go into each one of your sessions that each of you will be doing a little more detail or giving a little more detail about your background. So additionally, I just want to take a moment to let me go to the next slide, to thank Amy Gratt for being here. And while we do have a couple of partners, I really want to call out our gold partner for today's session, which is EXP. EXP is a California 501c3 nonprofit organization that prepares students for a better life. Their programs help young people gain experience, unlock doors, and build the confidence they need to succeed in school, career, and life. You can find out more about EXP at www.expfuture.org. We'll also, Amy, maybe you can drop that into the chat, but welcome and thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for inviting me. And I'm so excited to see so many people on the call, including many of my team. Confidence is such an issue for the young folks that we work with at the high school level. This is a topic that we all can really benefit from. Thank you for including us, Heidi.
Oh, you are so welcome. All right, so we have a really busy hour. We're going to try to pack a lot of amazing content into this short period of time. We're going to kick things off with an audience poll, and I'm going to let Jeanette help me with that. Then I'll turn it over to Michael to share his slides and his wisdom about this topic. Then we'll also from there turn it over to Chelsea. We'll open it up for a panel discussion and address any questions that some of our attendees today may have, and then end the session with some action steps that you can take away to break through your confidence barriers starting as early as this afternoon. So it'll be highly actionable and highly interactive. So with that, I am going to just share this screen. I don't know if you guys have heard of Menti, but if you can go to www.menti.com, and there's a voting code, and then I'm going to get out of this, Jeanette. And the voting codes, when you go there, you will input 5419742. Amy, maybe we can drop that number 2 into the chat. And the question that we're going to be answering, just to get us warmed up, is what are some of the limiting beliefs that you struggle with? So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and turn it over to you.
There we go. So we see imposter syndrome already big and bold. I love that. There are smarter people. Lack of experience. Here we go. I love that, not knowing everything. Even a possible, even a way to be, but that's our fear. People don't want my product. That can be limiting.
I'd love to see how this grows. So lack of experience, looks like imposter syndrome and fear of rejection, not good enough is bubbling up to the top.
Which feeds right into perfection, right?
Perfection,
and not
yeah.
feeling like you ever have enough training, not feeling like you ever are as knowledgeable or there's everyone else is so much smarter than you.
Yeah, and that's really a self-imposed belief, right? So, and frankly, and I know we have a really good mix of both young men and women on this call today, but it is in particular something that, that women struggle with is this idea of having to be perfect and to have all the I's dotted and T's crossed before moving forward. Looks like we're still getting some, I
love that
done?
it's too young and too old are both on there.
Oh, I love, so that's true, right? That you feel like one, you don't have enough experience, or two, that you're getting aged out of the market and that you're sort of a dinosaur, right? And that you're not trainable anymore. And so I love that. 100% agree with that it's an issue on both sides of the spectrum. All right, good.
I'll stop sharing. Now.
I'm sure this will continue to build. But let me go back and share my screen. All right. So Michael, I think that I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself, but I think that gives a good context and background of where people's heads are at, right?
Oh, I agree. And I think as we look at the cloud and you look at the panel and everyone's nodding, it's very relatable. And as we talk about confidence and we talk about the idea behind, do you believe in yourself first? It's one thing to talk about, do you believe in your product or service? Do you believe in yourself? So I've got a couple slides for everyone today. I always suggest that you have a pen in hand. I always talk with a pen in hand now that we're virtual, because I'm going to learn from everyone. And vice versa, you're going to get a couple ideas. Some stuff may resonate with you. Some stuff you may be like, Mike, you're crazy. But the idea is I ask you to keep an open mind, keep an open heart. And we're going to talk about some ideas of shifting your belief. It is not binary. Confidence is not a yes, no thing. It's not you have it or you don't. It's a process. So as we talk today, I'm going to start to infuse three things. So first and foremost, your attitude. That's your belief. Do you believe in what you're doing? More importantly, do you believe in yourself? The imposter syndrome, the idea you're too old, you're too young, that's all head trash. And head trash is a real thing. We all have it. It doesn't matter how established you are. The next level of your life and your career, you always have these self-doubts. And I'm going to give you two different tactics today that I use every single day. And to sit here and say that I have the confidence and I never doubt myself is a lie. So I'm going to be a little vulnerable with everyone today. And I doubt myself all the time. I'm my worst critic, but my behaviors every single day, week, month, allow me to build up myself. So even when I have bad days, and then that idea of trainability, that technique, you got to constantly be better. So Mike Stiglione yesterday, I'm a little bit better than him today. So I want everyone to have that. You're never going to be perfect. There is no definition of perfect. You know, who you are inside is perfect, but your roles and your expectations and everything, we have challenges. So as we jump into today, the idea is first and foremost addressing those limited beliefs. So I have what's called the belief wheel. And some of you have seen something very similar to this before, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through it with a couple examples. Anyone who wants to participate, feel free to come off mute. I wrote down some of the bigger words in the word cloud that I'm going to take everyone through is how your belief impacts your, in essence, your success. So not knowing everything, your belief, I don't know enough. So my judgments are going to be, well, I don't want to have that big conversation. I don't want to pick up the phone. I don't want to approach that CEO with my product or service because they're going to judge me in a way that I'm not good enough. So my actions are going to be limited. I'm not going to reach out to as many people. I'm going to maybe cower. I'm going to bring in poor posture when I walk into a room without the confidence. My results are going to be average or not very good. I'm not going to have those at-bats. I'm not going to be reaching out, which is going to reinforce that limited belief of, see, told you I didn't know everything. I shouldn't have done this. So I want to shift everything to empowering. So what I suggest during this activity is you create a little T, just like this. And on the left side of the T, you write down your limited belief. So for example, this one is not knowing everything. Then I want, as we go through today, I want you to shift it to an empowering belief. So that one's super easy for me to shift, is not knowing everything. Shift it to the other side is I have so much to learn. So my belief is I have so much to learn from every opportunity. So my judgment is I'm going to go into these conversations with my head held high, my shoulders out, learning through questioning. Sales is not telling someone how good you are. Selling is not telling. So the key is, are you learning from the person across from you? Do they have a need? Do they have the challenges? So what you want to do is now you increase actions. I need to talk to more people. I have so much in this world to learn. So now I'm going to double down on behaviors. When I walk in, I'm not going to be scared to ask a question. I'm not going to feel insufficient because I don't have all the answers. You know, we live in an era where we have all the rudimentary answers in our pocket. So I want to ask good questions. My results are going to be, people are going to tell me, hey, I don't have a need for this, because in their words, I've asked good questions. And that's great. Now I don't feel like a sales professional trying to convince anyone. More importantly, my results are going to be, I'm going to be in front of more people. They're going to be able to introduce me to other people. They're going to be able to say, yes, I do need your product or service, reinforcing that positive belief of, hey, this is fun. I like getting in front of more people. I'm learning. It's not, doesn't have to be a high pressure. Another limited belief was the fear of rejection. Everyone, I have two favorite words. My first favorite word is yes. Yes, Mike, let's do business together. My second favorite word is no. No, it's not a good fit right now, and nothing in between. So my belief of fear of rejection is I don't ask good questions. I'm scared to ask for them to engage or not. I'm timid. And those pieces have a result of, I get a lot of think it overs. And I see a lot of heads nodding. You've probably heard this a lot after like a presentation or a meeting. Hey, Mike, that was a great information. Let me get back to you. Let me think it over. Those are the worst things that we could hear. You know, in our internal conscience, we're like, yeah, it was great. But if I don't get a yes, I don't get a no, there's no clear next steps. And now I'm in sales purgatory, reinforcing that belief of rejection. Wait, am I rejected? Am I not? And I'd rather that slow burn over time is way worse than, you know what, Mike, we're not a good fit right now. And that's okay. There's 8 billion people on this planet, people. What do you need, 20, 30 to run a thriving business? So have the belief of, it's not rejection, it's an opportunity for honest discussion. I'm not a good fit for everyone. And once you acknowledge that, and I get rid of the idea of fear of rejection, and open up to honest discussion. So on the right side of my T chart, I would put honest discussion, transparency in sales, not fear of rejection. Once I embody that, my judgment is going to be, I'm going to ask those tough questions. I'm going to get much more out of the people in front of me. The results are going to be, I'm going to be a trusted advisor. I'm not going to be a vendor. I'm not going to be someone who just wants to look past me and they're looking at me as a commodity of a, well, can I just nickel and dime the price? This person knows what they're doing. They believe in what they're doing, therefore reinforcing my belief of, hey, I know what I'm doing. And you do this every single time one of those limited beliefs come in your head. So if you're going into a big meeting and you have self-doubt, take yourself through this belief wheel, snap a picture of it, take yourself through it, reach out to a mentor, reach out to a colleague and just say, hey, can I talk this through with you? All right. So as we shift from attitudes, it's that idea of, well, where are you going? And it's one thing to believe in yourself, but where are you headed? So confidence comes from, do you actually achieve a goal? And so many times people put these outrageous goals together. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a CEO. But why? Let's back up and make some tangible, smarter goals. And I'm going to take you through something I do every single quarter and every single year is I make smarter goals. I'll take you through my process. You can take a picture. With confidence comes results. So my goal isn't to be happy, to be successful. Like, how do you define that? It's not very specific. My goal is to bring in 3 new clients a month. So at the end of the year, did I bring in my 36 new clients? That's very specific. I can measure that. And at the end of the year, I can simply say, did I get it? Did I overachieve? And what you're going to find is if you make smarter goals, 9 times out of 10, you're going to overachieve if they follow each and every one of these. Number 3 is attainable. I don't put down 15, clients a month. That's not realistic. I have about 2 or 3 different conversations a day, and not everyone's a client for me. So that 3 is attainable. It's realistic. I can get that with consistency. And is it relevant? Yes, it's very relevant to my business. Like, that's very focused. I'll give you an example of something not relevant. Putting up 5, posts might not be very relevant towards my business goal. Marketing is excellent. And for all those who market, excellent. But for my goal of maybe achieving a monetary result, I don't have any control over that. So is it relevant? Kinda. But make it specific towards that goal. Time
Hey,
bound.
Michael, may I interrupt
Jump
just
on
for
in,
a
Heidi.
second? Just a
Get in there.
quick question. So I love the idea of having goals that are specific, measurable, and attainable. But do you also put together some stretch goals as well?
Everything's a stretch goal. So for me, that's tough. 3 clients a month, that's hard for me. That's almost 1 a week. And when I first started, 1 a month seemed unattainable. And now I'm up to 3 a month. So like I said, every single quarter I reevaluate, and every single year I reevaluate, because I don't believe I've ever arrived. You always got to push. And
You're always pushing the envelope. Pushing, pushing.
Here's a reality. People said 5-year goals are dead. Who do you want to be in 5 years? That's a good goal. So visualize yourself in 5 years. That's a completely different human than who I am today. So visualize yourself 5 years out, and then start to make yearly, quarterly, monthly goals to get there. Because
so Diana has a really good question. Well, she had 2 actually. One is maybe you can do a quick review of what's on both sides of the T, right? One is a limiting belief, and I believe the other side is the transformation of that limiting belief to an empowerment statement. But correct me if I'm wrong. And then the other thing is, why is 3 clients a month hard?
Say that one again.
Why is 3 clients a month hard? Like, what's,
Sure. So first and foremost, going back to the T, is we had not knowing enough. So that was on the left side. On the right side is I have so much to learn. So that would be my empowering belief. I want to look down the right side. On the left side, we had fear of rejection. And then on the right side, we had opportunity for honest conversations. So That's what you want to compare and contrast as you go down. The right side being unlimited, the left side being you're empowering. And then going towards why is 3 so hard is it's challenging to have conversations. You know, for me, 10 clients when I first started was a thriving business. Now I've upped it to 36. So depending where your financial goals are, where your business aspirations are, it's, for me, that's for some people who maybe do more of a shorter cycle. My sales cycle about a month long. So for me, when I've done my goals and I've done my smarter goals, that's what I equated to wanting to get to my financial pieces. So 3 is very challenging for me. And, you know, like I said, in my first couple of years, 1 a month was good. I patted myself on the back at 1. And, you know, a couple of years later, now you got to keep pushing, because as you grow, you get better, you learn more. And so that's why for me, that was relevant, is constantly pushing my bar. Time bound is the idea that I'm doing it every quarter, every month. So I know if I'm on track or not. And it's okay if I don't get there. You know, I don't always get there. I reflect, and I'm going to give you one final tool to reflect on, is I learn from every single opportunity. It's not about failure, it's about learning, which takes you into the final 2. We've all heard SMART goals, but is it enjoyable and rewarding? And those are 2 things to add in. As many times we make these aggressive goals, and that kills confidence, because they're not fun to get to. They're a lot of work. You know, no one likes practice. Practice isn't the fun part. The fun part is, you know, getting into the game and winning and those things. So is it enjoyable? Do you enjoy doing it? And you might not enjoy, like, for example, a behavior that you have to do to get there is cold calls or networking events. Those aren't fun for some people, but the results are. You know, it's the idea that you're slowly getting somewhere, that you have a reward for yourself intrinsically. You know, so that's the idea behind smarter goals. You make something very specific, and you, in essence, visualize yourself achieving it. And again, like I said, do one for a year, and then do one for a quarter, for 3 months, and then do one for 1 month. I make daily goals, and I'm going to take you through what I do on daily goals, but those change all the time. So what I suggest, this is definitely have your cameras out, take a picture, write this down, is I start every day with bagels. You know, my wife, she loves to actually eat the bagels. I like to just reflect on them. So first and foremost, what are your behaviors for the day? So I'm a Post-it guy. So I've got my 10 things that I have to achieve today. Do I get to them every day? No, I don't. But I've written down everything I have. The rest I do in Microsoft Word. So what's my affirmation? I remind myself, for those entrepreneurs out there, the confidence. If you got in this for attaboys and attagirls, you got into the wrong business. No one else is going to cheer for you except for yourself. So to build your confidence, you have to remind yourself, affirm with yourself every single day the value you bring. Mine is I provide 10x return on everybody's investment. I impact both personal and professional lives. You know, I have a millionaire mindset. So I truly believe in that. It's a work ethic. So that's what I remind myself every single day. Because not every day is a great day. Some days I get a lot of rejection. The third thing I then write down is, what is my 1 goal for today? You can have 2 or 3, but I typically focus on 1. So if I have a strong meeting day, it might be moving 2 out of 3 conversations to the next level. It's never get it sale. It's always about progression in the process. It might be, if it's low on meetings, high on behaviors, it might be have 5 conversations with new people. And then if I do this every day, I'm going to be able to evaluate my success over time. So did I achieve my goal from the day before? Yes, no. I'm not going to dwell if I didn't get it. If I didn't, I'm going to go right to the next piece of, well, what's my lesson I learned from it? Whenever someone says, Mike, I'm not a good fit, I say, that's fine. We shake hands, we part friends. Now we're not a good fit. Do you know anyone in your world that might benefit from a conversation from me? So I learn a lesson, and I also ask for an introduction. I'm going to have every piece of my time be an investment in the future. And every day I'm going to find one piece of success, just one. Everything is glass half full. So what did I try? What did I do? What did I learn? And then what was one success? And I'll give you an example of how I use this. Is I had 4 sales calls one day and I was 0 for 3 and my confidence was shot. You know, I'm a very emotional person. So when I get no 3 times, although it's my second favorite word, I don't like it. It's my favorite. You know, you don't have to like it. You just have to acknowledge that I got it. I got a clear decision. And before I went to that 4th meeting, I read my affirmations from my previous month. And I just, oh man, I am great. I didn't feel it at the time, but I went through and read my journal and I felt like $1,000,000. And I went to that 4th conversation and I got the business. And, you know, I share this story often. And one person once came off mute and they go, Mike, why didn't you read your affirmations after the first one? Maybe you would have gone 2 for 3 on the next. And I was like, that's a great point. That's a great point. Use this as a tool to empower yourself. Remind yourself how great you are. And when you're feeling down and when you get those no's or those rejections, or, you know, maybe you've around you, your inner circle, they've given you a little bit of doubt, internally lift yourself up. Because life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. That's key. Go ahead, Heidi.
I just love that. That is such fantastic advice. And I like what, I wasn't sure who put it in the chat, but, you know, affirmations, you know, equal manifestation, right? And writing down personal affirmations is such an important thing, right? In order to stay focused and to really reaffirm your, you know, your value and your worth, especially at those times when you're feeling that self-doubt.
Oh, absolutely. Again, you have to pull it from within, because if you don't
Yeah.
have it from within, don't expect the world to give it to you. And sales is hard. You know, if anyone tells you anything different, they're lying. It's hard. It's a very hard career choice. Is it fun? Can it be rewarding? Absolutely. It's why I love it, but it's not easy. And a lot of people see maybe a financial goal or something they want to have, and that's why they do it. But knowing that you have to believe in yourself first, knowing that it's all about communication, knowing that you are great internally, and you might, hopefully you're not the used car sales professional of the 1980s. You know, the person who's selling ice to Eskimos, like that sneaky shyster type person.
Snake
Hopefully you're
oil
not that
salesperson.
Yeah. Hopefully you are yourself. Don't try and be anyone else, but just be better, be stronger, and be more confident. And if you believe in yourself, you know, you have strong goals and you're on your way to them, and you reflect and journal every single day, I don't just promise, but I guarantee success each and every year of your life. And as you continue to grow, I don't believe anyone's ever arrived. It's a process. You can always get a little bit better. You can always do a little different and a little bit better. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm going to play a little bit of time police, because I want to be sure that we give Chelsea enough time and that we also leave some time for questions at the end. So Chelsea, I did make you co-host if you want to bring up your screen. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yes. Wow. Michael, that was fantastic. And literally you gave me homework as one of the fellow panelists. So
there you go.
I'm excited. My bagels, I get them every morning and all the good stuff. So thank you for that. Everyone, it is such a joy and pleasure to be with you all today, just to share a few additional nuggets of wisdom for you to help you really win in the space of career and confidence in life and all of the good things that we want you to accomplish. I am going to just add a few additional perspectives to what Michael has already shared about how you really can take practical steps every single day to build your confidence, because it truly is a muscle that you're going to continue to build and evolve really throughout your entire life. Okay. And so the first point that I want to talk about is this concept of imposter syndrome. Heidi brought it up in the very beginning. Michael discussed it. Imposter syndrome, these feelings that we have of unworthiness. Sometimes we experience them when we're the only person who identifies in a certain population, or maybe we just experience them when we're trying something new. Maybe we experience them, as we navigate through transitions in life. But the point is, we all experience imposter syndrome. When we think about imposter syndrome, there's many different examples of imposter syndrome, but the one I'm going to talk about today is perfection. Those of us who strive for being perfectionists. I know I'm a recovering perfectionist. I think Heidi and I spoke yesterday. We're in the same boat on that. And maybe many of you here also feel that way, or you're recovering in the process of perfectionism. For many of us, it comes from a place of, it's really a worthiness conversation. Am I worthy of this opportunity in front of me? Sometimes it is because of our childhood experiences. There's so many different reasons why perfectionism might be what you are challenged with. But what I want to say now is we are brave, not perfect. The founder of Girls Who Code has a book that's called Brave, Not Perfect. And I know that it is something that has truly helped me in my journey of understanding how to give what's in front of me my best efforts, whether it's academically or professionally, or if it's personal, if I'm trying to lose weight or gain weight, if I'm trying to build a relationship with a certain person and it feels challenging. There's not perfection that we can pursue as human beings. Michael talked about it. All we can do is really give our best effort. We are also not striving for perfection. We're striving for progress. So every time that we encounter growth moments, every single time that we are better than the day before, we're winning, winning, #winning. Okay. And so that's what we want to consider as we think about what it takes for us to really thrive as professionals. So again, imposter syndromes are going to come. The biggest thing we want to consider is, did I grow? Did my perspective change? Did I really be able to connect with someone maybe I wasn't able to connect with by simply opening my mind and my experiences? So that is point one. Point two, when we talk about confidence, we need to consider the importance of lifelong learning. Every single time we are learning something new, we are gaining new perspective, we are building our confidence because our exposure and our experiences are broadening. And so I will tell you, I am a lifelong learner. By nature, I always have a book with me, or I'm very interested in connecting with people. And that is one of the things that has helped me as an entrepreneur and someone who has to sell. As an entrepreneur, you're always selling, you're storytelling, you're connecting with people. And my ability to know what's happening in the world around me is my ability to show up with greater confidence and even tell my story a little better. So I'll just give you a tip and a tool that's helped me just to stay abreast of some of the topics I'm most passionate about. And it is called Flipboard. I'm going to add the link in the chat. And Flipboard is a really powerful resource that helps individuals to curate news just for you. That's right. If you are interested in staying abreast of topics in your sector, industry, visions you have for the future, you can create news that's specifically aligned with your passion. So for me, it'd be career development. It'd be diversity and inclusion. It would be talent development. And so I go into Flipboard. I've added the link to the chat. I click on Flipboard, I become a member, and then I get to create hashtags of all of the different topics that matter to me. It might be sales for people here, or marketing, or copywriting. And then every single day, I spend about 15 minutes going through the top news in that particular subject area. And for me, it's helped me be able to really connect with my clients in a thoughtful way. It's helped me to be able to create speaking engagements, or really curate my speaking opportunities in a way that is thoughtful, because I'm actually speaking to what's happening in the world around us. And so I would even ask you in this moment, how are you committing to lifelong learning? It's going to look different for everyone here. For some of you, it's podcasts. You're into podcasts. There's so many great podcasts that are out now. I love How I Built This, that talks about the entrepreneurial journey. I'm seeing Heidi and Michael nod as well. Great podcasts for people who are innovators and creatives who want that inspiration. And so my question, I would actually pose it now: what does lifelong learning look like to you? What are you doing every single day to expand your horizons and to gain education and perspective? Okay. And so we can help each other here. If there's a book you're reading, if there's a podcast you love, drop it in the chat so we can have a hodgepodge of different resources to take us after this session, to take us forth. My third point is where I'm going to screen share, and it has to do with building your squad, building those career relationships that help you win, and that support system that's necessary for the highs and lows of life, because they're going to come. Michael already said in sales, yeah, there's moments where you're winning and you're thriving, but there's also really difficult moments where you need that support to kind of help you stay focused. And so I want to share with you all right now a slide that I believe is going to provide really powerful information on how to build winning career relationships that become a part of your squad. Okay, this is the only slide you're going to see from me today. So everyone should be able to see my screen. You see these big circles, little circles, these different images here. And this is what I use when I'm talking with professionals, particularly early career professionals, to really think about the squad that you need to build, the council that you need to build to help you prepare for whatever professional endeavors you're seeking, okay? And so I'm gonna quickly in our time go through these 4 pillars that I believe are gonna help you as you think through what's next. So the first is mentor. It's the big, huge circle that's in front of you right now. And why is mentor the largest representation in these 4 pillars here? Well, because there's many different types of mentors. You could have a mentor who you speak with a few times a year. You could have a mentor who you speak with daily. You can have a mentor who's sending you articles just to keep you inspired. You can have a mentor who's available when you're having a difficult moment and you need to talk through preparation for an interview. The mentor role is broad. The mentor role is ever evolving. You see from this diagram, mentors can play roles that include role modeling careers. They can help you with goal setting. They can help you determine, should I go get the graduate degree or just get a certification? They can help you talk through specific subject matter that's going to help you. So maybe they're in B2B sales, business to business sales, and they can specifically talk with you through how to launch your career in that space. And so the mentor role is broad. From the image here, you can see part 2, career coach. Typically, a career coach can play the mentor role as well. And so at College Code, the organization I lead, we have a whole team of national coaches who help early career professionals prepare for career through coaching. So that's everything from how do I explore career pathways in business or in sales or any other subject that people are interested in, all the way through how do I create my brand story from social media to resumes and cover letters to the actual interview process. And then career coaches can also help people who want to make career changes. Maybe they've been in technology and they want to move to more of a sales role or a creative role. They help people take the steps to get there. And so you can see that the career coach role is very specific to goal setting for your next steps. Final 2 pieces, and this is where a lot of confusion happens. Sponsor, advisor. The advisor role is specific to the career pathway you're interested in. So if you are interested in doing client service, which is a sales role, it's a little bit of sales and marketing within typically investment management industry. They basically help support the client experience at example, a JP Morgan Chase or a Lazard Asset Management. An advisor would be someone who has excelled in that role for a period of time. That's their subject matter expertise. They know what to do, how to win, how to progress, and they can really give you a lay of the land of how to set yourself up for success. Okay, so that is important to know, because you can have a career coach, but if they haven't done the job you're interested in, you might not be getting the full spectrum of support that's going to really help you thrive, and especially if you're looking to advance. And our final piece, sponsors. Sponsors provide access to opportunity. So the difference between the mentor, which is typically discussed, and the sponsor is going to open those doors for you. And so anyone here who's chosen the college pathway, if someone wrote your letter of recommendation to college, they sponsored you. If someone was a referral for a job opportunity, meaning you wrote them down as one of the people the company could call, they sponsored you. They put their name on the line for an access opportunity for you. So that's a little bit different than mentoring, where it's simply maybe a conversation or sharing of resource. How women win, how professionals win is through sponsorship. Let it be known. When you're talking about that first promotion to manager, even if you're talking about getting into a pipeline program, a sales program, a marketing program, typically you need someone to sponsor you, to vouch for you when you're not in the room. And that's what the sponsor role does. And so again, I wish I had this slide when I was at Spelman College, where I went to college. I wish someone was like, Chelsea, you need to build your squad, and here are the 4 pillars of what it needs to look like. I didn't have it, but I'm passionate about making sure, and I know Heidi and Michael are, that you all know the relationships that help you get to the next level. And so when we think about building confidence, the people around you play a role in helping you build that confidence and helping you take those steps that maybe you wouldn't take without them being there. Okay. And so went through that pretty quickly, but hopeful that there are questions that can support both of these or the 3 examples that I gave. Thank you. You're on mute, Heidi.
Heidi, you're on mute.
Heidi, you're on mute.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, you saw my thing. I felt like I was like in the middle of a tornado. It was awesome. And I'm all pumped up. That was the 2 of you. Thank you so much for sharing all of that fantastic information. I know that we want to go, we want to move to, like some additional questions for the panel. Lauren, is it okay if I put you on the spot for a sec as a college student? And it kind of ties into, it ties into, what Chelsea was speaking about in terms of finding your tribe or building your tribe. And one of the questions that I had that I would love your perspective on is, in this Kardashian world, right, that is so influenced by social media, that puts us in a position each and every day to be comparing ourselves to others' accomplishments, what they've done, how great they are, and so I'm wondering from your perspective, how do you manage that from a confidence perspective? And how does it impact you?
Just to clarify, how do we manage like trying to build our tribe lately?
Well, how you build your tribe so that they support you, and how does living in, being immersed in this social media world, impact your confidence, and how do you overcome it?
Right. Well, I think from a confidence perspective, like from what I've experienced, sometimes the biggest hits that we could take to our confidence would be like from a social media aspect is just simply like not getting a response, like putting yourself out there and trying your best to make connections with people and just flat out being ignored. But I think that making good connections with people like you, for example, or Jeanette, who really like help like want to make you a better person, both like personally and from a business aspect, goes a long way to boosting your confidence, to for wanting you to put yourself out there again to make other connections with other individuals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I love that perspective. Amy, did you want to add it? Because I know that, this is something that you talk about a lot in the work that you do on a daily basis.
Sure, but I'm actually going to punt it to any one of my teammates who are working actively with the high school students. We see the corrosive effects of social media and the emphasis on perfection, beauty, glamour, riches, you name it. And, when you're 15, 16 years old and you're not living up to that unrealistic ideal, how do you even get the confidence to show up and open your screen for class? I would love to get some insights from my colleagues who are working with young people as to what they're seeing and how they are helping them counterbalance that.
Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to share.
Can share. My name's Kenya. I work with San Pedro High School students in Narbonne High School. What I've learned from the young kids and what I tell them is this culture you mentioned about kind of perfection, and we talk about like Transformation Tuesdays where people post the before and after photos, but I let them know that that is just, it's not real life. You know, there's the in-between part, there's the ugly parts, there's the parts where, you know, you have your downs, you're gonna have your self-doubts, you're gonna make a mistake. And so what I tell them is to have grace upon themselves, to have compassion upon themselves, to forgive themselves if they've ever made a mistake, and to acknowledge, to really dive into their history, to dive into their culture, because that's what truly helps them have that internal validation. And that's, I constantly tell them that you will not find validation on exterior things. It has to come from within you, and from within you, your light comes out, and that's where you start really influencing. If you want to really be an influencer, there has to be inner work. If you are not well grounded, if you don't have strong set values, then it's not going to work out. It's just a phase. It's just a picture. But, you know, a picture is just something someone can post, but they can be feeling really bad, you know? So at the end of the day, I let them know that it's just social media. It's not the healthiest thing in the world. And we have to learn how to use it to our benefit and not let it control us the other way around. So that's what I hear from them. I hear that there's a lot of pressure from society of who they need to be. And I tell them, just do what you love. Do what makes you happy. Have a plan. Ask for help. Reach out. Don't isolate. You know, and explore. Go explore. Go learn. Throw yourself out there. You know, take a risk. So that's what I tell them.
Wow, I love that. Lisa, did you want to share something? No? Okay.
Is you got to surround yourself with people who are not going to lower your ambition. And this could be hard for many women because it might be your mom or your brother or your sister who's bringing you down. It might be some of your best friends. Is those who are truly great will empower you to also believe that you will be great. And that's hard. So to do a reflection on your inner circle. Are they empowering you? Are they building your confidence? And I don't mean the superficial. I go back to Abraham Lincoln, who's one of my best mentors. He was a self-learning. His inner circle, he kept all the haters around him. He kept the people who didn't believe, and if he could convince them that he was right. Now, I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme, but if you have people who are shutting you down and constantly lowering you have to find a way to find people who are more empowering, more positive, because negative energy breeds negative energy. So get yourself away from that. Turn off, do social media cleanses where you take a weekend off social media. And for those high school students, like a whole weekend, that's the best time. No, take a weekend away, you know, take a week away and do some cleanses where you remember who you are. That's how you're going to come back and be more strong, because we get so bound down to whatever other people believe, and that becomes our belief. And then we're back in the negative belief wheel.
Yeah, it's like this perpetuating circle, right? Of this, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough conversation, because you're always constantly comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing.
I would just, I mean, I so co-sign everything that Michael and Heidi have said. The energy flow is it's so critical. And I can even think about myself as an entrepreneur, especially last year, a very honest moment with COVID and then the racial injustices. There's just a lot. And I found myself backing away from social and having my days where I'm like, I'm not getting on until 3 o'clock. I literally, no technology, in fact, unless it's with client meetings. And that is how I was able to get so much done, because you go and see one thing and it could take you off your best effort for like 24 hours or even worse, the whole week. And we don't have time to waste. And so the energy piece is really important. I agree.
Yeah, Kenya, I love what Kenya said in the chat, too much noise in our head. And actually that's a perfect lead into the next question. Maybe Chelsea, I'll throw this out to you, but you know, how do we quiet those chatterboxes in our head those voices that are constantly talking to us and that we're trying to weigh, and how do we make a decision what to listen to?
Yeah, there's a few things I think of. There's a few things I think about. I mean, I think first is getting very clear on your why. Like,
Mhm.
what is your why? What do you want? And this is the hard part, because I went through an exercise like this last year with a business coach, where it's like some of the things I had originally on my list were just things I thought I had to have. Okay. And when you really get clear about what you value, your values, what matters to you, your vision, then a lot of the things, when we really assess that we're doing, people we're connected to, all of that stuff, you're like, why was I even doing this in the first place? This has nothing to do with my short or long-term vision. And so I think the first thing is an honest, self-aware moment. I don't think, Heidi, enough people are self-aware. And so
Mhm.
I think if we can carve time in to get self-aware and get clear, naturally some of the noise and the things in our head are going to just disseminate, because we're focused. And
And
so
so
that's
what is it, just a
thing.
question, what does that look like to you in terms of being self-aware? And I open it up, but it just
Yeah.
terms of, like your priorities, or
Yes, I think it's
like?
I think it's a mix, Heidi. I think it's, what do you value? So like right here, one activity that we could all do, and I'll drop a link in that has an exercise. Are you clear on your top 5 or your top 3 values? Like literally taking the time to think and know, not being like in the passenger seat, but being actively saying, here are my values. Here's what matters. This is what matters in relationship. This is what matters in business and career. This is what matters in partnership and relationship, and being clear about those first. And then as you get clear and you own them, again, I think some of the things like the noise and our opinions of other people, they're always going to be there. But you can like settle them a little bit more and really stay focused on what's ahead. So those are some things that I have personally done, getting clear on my values. And then the other thing for me is getting comfortable saying no. Like, and I'm still working on it, in full disclosure, but getting comfortable saying no, because the more no's, the more right yeses. And so I think that's just something that comes with time, but really not feeling like you have to respond so quickly to an invitation, saying, can I get back to you by the end of the day? And having that be a default and of a response can be helpful in really thinking about what matters, and some of the things that you post. So I don't know if anyone else has an add-on to that.
I think calling it out, Chelsea, you hit it right on the head, is learning to say no is one of the best skills from all successful professionals, is they know how to prioritize. So having your goals, having all that clear, but then acknowledge when they happen. Let's be honest, everyone. We all have negative and self-doubt. We all have people who maybe have a bad day around us. Call it out. I think hiding it is not the right thing to do, but acknowledging that it existed. Why does it exist? And then kind of think about, is this a proactive or limited belief? Is this helping or hurting me? Does this work or does this not work? And then if you hide it, you're not growing. But if you acknowledge it and work through it, that's where you're going to become growing. And then when it happens again, you'll be able to bounce back faster. And that's what I look for, is how fast you bounce back from that negative. Does it crush you for a week? Does it crush you for a day? Does it kind of hurt for a couple minutes? And then you're back to going on.
Jeanette, did you want to share something?
Yeah, thank you, Heidi. The one thing that really helped me out, especially young in my career, is just the advice, and it's two-pronged, right? It's don't impose your story on someone else. So it works both ways. So if you think about, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go do this because the person's going to think this, this, and this, that's putting my story and my belief on that person. And that's not giving that person the ability to either A, say yes, or A, say no, or even to react to me. I'm already putting my story on them, and that's not fair to them or to me. And then vice versa. I look at someone else, maybe older, younger, in between. Gosh, why is my career not where there is? Why am I a failure? Why am I not doing as well? It works the same way. That's their story. That's their God's purpose. God has a different purpose for me. And so I need to realize that for my story. So needless to say, following your story and your path and not imposing that on someone else is important. And it really helped me change my mindset. So just wanted to share that. And I still struggle.
I love that.
Still struggle.
Every day. every day with that. Don't impose your story. Your story is your story. Own it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it doesn't, nobody else's story matters, really, right? Because so you can't, if you just own yours and recognize that it's your journey, then you take yourself out of comparing yourself to others. Yes? Is that what are you in agreement with that?
Definitely. We have it. We have it.
All
This
right,
is a great
cool.
session. Thank you, Heidi.
So we have 3 minutes left. With the remaining time, I would love to just turn it, just maybe, and you guys have already, Chelsea and Michael and Amy, feel free to jump in here, or someone from your team gave some really good resources, and we'll be sending out those resources as follow-up to this session as well. But if you could give, one nugget piece of advice that the folks on this call could take away and start implementing immediately, what would that be? Michael, why don't you kick it off?
You got to believe in yourself first. So you have to first and foremost start with yourself. Stop making excuses, stop looking at the outside and look inside. So if you can embody and believe in what you want to do, as Chelsea talked about, do you have your vision? Do you have your goals? It starts there. So if you don't know what that is yet, especially if you're going into selling, and why are you doing it? Where are you going? And then you can start to add everything out, but it starts inside. And I think everyone now has about 5 to 7 homework assignments that they can start with, but it starts internally. Once you start pointing the finger, there's always 3 more pointing back at you. So stop making excuses and own it inside.
Own it. Chelsea, how about you?
Own it. Yeah, own it is great. And then I think reimagine possibility. I think that with everything that took place and is taking place in the world around us, I would not want anyone here to think that we're going to be able to rebound and move forward. So many opportunities come from adversity and challenge. And so again, Michael was saying this as he talked through naturally what it means to be in sales. You're going to have your downtimes and your uptimes. Here we are, for many people, we experience downtimes over the last 365 days. And so, my big thing is, what's the vision? Reimagine all that's possible for yourself, for your family, for your career, and stay focused on that and the opportunity that is here, because you either are going to maximize this moment or you're going to continue to feel helpless and hopeless, and that's not healthy for anyone. So you're here today at like 1 o'clock, almost 2 o'clock on an afternoon, at least here on the East Coast. And so you're showing up, continue to show up, continue to be a part of the solution. And we wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're at the top of the hour. I am, so appreciative for everybody's contribution today. I have so many, now I have all these homework assignments that I'm going to add to my plate. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we'll go ahead and start sharing. But again, really appreciate it. And if you have any follow-up thoughts, certainly we welcome some, your feedback on this session. I'm going to stop recording